Good evening, students and parents. Hope you're doing well. We're going to be starting some writing, but first we need to look at writing from other authors. And we did that in the previous video, looked at how authors wrote a 3-paragraph essay using an introduction, body, and conclusion. We're just going to focus on writing introductions right now. So introductions are only 1 or 2 sentences, and they give us the who, did what, when, and where. We're going to use our reading as an example, and this is a way of starting out writing your personal narratives. We filled in everything about our passage for now, and hopefully you've written down these notes on the blank passage and you've read through using your mind's eye and your 3x5 file card. And now let's just look at how they wrote this. We're going to take some notes. Okay. And this is going to be how to write a narrative. And we're going to use this story as an example. There's only 3 paragraphs, is what I like about this story, and it has a very distinct introduction, a very distinct body part, and a very distinct conclusion. We're just going to focus on the introduction, okay? And our introduction answers these questions. Who did what, when, and where. If you have these parts in your introduction, you have created a great introduction. Let's see how well this author answers these questions in the introduction here, okay? They say things are caused by Mother Nature. I got to meet Mother Nature, and she is some lady. She lives in the sky and races around on a cloud. Okay, who is he talking about here? Let's go ahead and make a separate section for each one. Who did what, when, and where. So who is being discussed here in that first paragraph? We have we call them the protagonist. That's the character in the story telling the story. So I would be a who. Okay, we could say that much. I got to meet Mother Nature. She is some way. And I would say Mother Nature is the other character. So there's 2 who's in this opening paragraph because the rest of it he's talking about what him and Mother Nature, I'm going to say it's him, but it could be a she, him or her, what they are doing. We raced over huge forests. Okay, so they're together doing this, this narrative. So we can say it's I and Mother Nature. That's the who. And he tells us who the who is right in the very beginning. He doesn't wait till the middle of the story. He tells us right in the narrative. That's the who part. Did what? She lives in the sky and races around they're going to, did what? They're going to race around on a cloud. Okay, so it's him and Mother Nature racing around a cloud. It didn't take the whole story for us to know that. We know that right in the introduction. Okay, let's look a little bit further. When, that's a little bit more difficult. We could probably, if we use our imagination, since they're racing around a cloud, it was last spring. So this could have been placed in the narrative or in the introduction here. She lives in a cloud. Well, I got to meet Mother Nature last spring. They could have put that in here. So they wait a little bit, but they put it really close to the introduction. So when was last spring? And where are they at? Lives in the sky. So other than the author putting last spring down here in the beginning of the body, the introduction here covers all of these things. Who did what, when, and where. So every time that you write a narrative, the first thing you have to do is you have to nail down this introduction. You cannot start a narrative without a good introduction. And it should cover a who did what, when, and where. So hopefully these are your notes for week 20. And we use this as our model for writing because it's 3 paragraphs and it answers all the things that we need to know about starting our own narratives. And on the next video in writing, I'm going to cover one of the most difficult things that writers have to overcome. Because you know writing is difficult, and it's probably not what you expected.